over the years at RBC is this. Independent pharmacists are some of the most resilient and creative problem solvers out there, because let's be real, things are changing fast. Patients want more. Healthcare keeps evolving, and pharmacy owners are constantly figuring out how to adapt while keeping the doors open and serving their patients. And what's truly inspiring is that you're not just adapting, you're really leading the way. So many of you are finding new ways to expand services and deepen your connection to your communities. So right now, we're going to hear from 3 pharmacists who are doing exactly that in very different ways. Please help me welcome to the stage from Wells Hometown Drug in Bloomfield, Iowa, Dr. Caitlin Rohrbaugh, from Medicap Pharmacy in Owasso, Oklahoma, and the Wellness Pharmacy Network, Dr. Kathy Campbell, and from Hobbs Pharmacy on Merritt Island, Florida, Dr. Jessica Beal. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Caitlin. Oh, wow, look at this amazing panel. We are so happy that you're the brave ones to come represent all of your peers up on this stage. But just for context, so everyone knows where you're coming from, I would love for each of you to briefly describe your pharmacy model and what spurred you to sort of venture outside the traditional role of pharmacy. Caitlin, why don't we start with you, because I know you want to go first.
Yes, thank you, Eva. My name is Caitlin. I'm a clinical pharmacist provider at Wells Hometown Drug and Walk-in Clinic in Bloomfield, Iowa. We're very rural southeastern Iowa. And what spurred us to open this walk-in clinic was new legislation in our state. So this allowed us to fill a healthcare gap in our area and allow a new stream of revenue as well.
That's amazing, but I'm also kind of stuck on the fact that you're from Iowa. Caitlin Clark is from Iowa. I also interviewed her, and you're channeling her right now in the superpowers that you're just emitting here. Kathy, talk to us about what's going on with you.
Well, I'm the OG around here. I've been in community pharmacy in one community of Owasso, Oklahoma for 34 years. I've had the profound privilege to serve 5 generations of patients. I call myself a wellness pharmacist. I'm also an independent pharmacy owner for 25 years this year, and that's 658 payrolls that have been met, FYI. It's about helping my patients live vital, long lives. And often that's a medication, but there's so much we can do to help them not need medications. But the rest of my career is going to be dedicated, as I'm the founder of the Wellness Pharmacy Network, which is a nationwide new subspecialty within the profession to rebrand and reacquaint communities with a wellness pharmacist and somebody that can help them be well.
Amazing. I know you referred earlier in a different conversation about how pharmacy has owned you for many decades, but really you own it. You've been doing such incredible work, and it's really wonderful to have you here on the stage. Jessica, last but not least, tell us what's going on, besides those amazing arms and that sleeveless.
Thank you. I'm Jessica Beal. I am the Director of Clinical Services for Hobbs Pharmacy. We're a 3rd generation family-owned pharmacy that was founded in 1964. We're just 45 miles east of here on the coast. We were founded as a pharmacy to service NASA and their engineers to help us get us to space. And we still get to do that today through a huge compounding pharmacy and very personalized services that we offer our community. I'm also really excited because I'm helping drive the new field of sports pharmacy. So looking at how we can help active individuals and athletes stay active and perform better.
That's amazing, and we're going to gloss over the fact that you're like a professional weightlifter.
Yeah, I do a little of the weightlifting.
We teased a little bit that she was going to wear her singlet today on stage, but she decided not to. Too bad for all of us. If anybody doesn't know what a singlet is, you know, the weightlifting full body. Anyway, all right, I digress. So Kathy, you had mentioned that you've been practicing for some time. It must have taken, and you're really future forward in a different way, and it must have taken a complete mindset shift to reimagine your role, your identity really, as a pharmacist. Talk to us about that.
You know, I'm a patient advocate like everybody here, and it just, as the business model shifted, one of the hardest things was to me to reconcile not filling a prescription as the best interest of the patient. To not lose money. And what I recognized that if I wasn't there, I wasn't going to be there to help people. So I really focused my energy on the wellness and proactive care side and shifted to a wellness, which was my heart anyway, and started really providing goods and services that aligned with that proactive preventive wellness approach. And then Dr. Kathy came around as a brand, and that was really something that was uncomfortable, and my therapist is on speed dial, to be able to actually embrace letting people know I could help them. So to brand and market myself as a valuable partner in their health was a big shift, and one I think we're all, as pharmacists, very uncomfortable doing. So that was a critical shift for me. And then going in that proactive, personalized wellness medicine is really what patients are desperate to have help with.
Well, I love that your therapist helped bring that to life, because it's true, you all earned the title of doctor, and so I'm glad that you are wearing it proudly as a badge of honor. Jessica, I saw you shaking your head too, because I think you can identify with what Kathy's talking about.
I definitely can. I think a lot of it was looking at, the patients that they have goals, and we weren't asking about those questions, and that I didn't need permission from anybody to create value with our patients. That the pharmacy school had given us a great amount of clinical knowledge and skills, but yet we weren't great at figuring out how to use those, and it didn't define us in pharmacy school. So being able to find those unique skills that we have to qualify us to solve unique problems in the community, and that I think sports played a part of it too, in changing my mindset. There was a couple things from sports that really helped. Was in weightlifting, if you doubt that weight you're about to take, you're probably going to miss it. So it kind of helped me don't doubt myself before I even try it. And that progress isn't always linear. It's okay to fail as long as you reassess and you come back stronger, and that it's great to do it with the community.
Oh, I love to hear it, and you have so much value to provide, and just like Kathy was talking about. And speaking of value, Caitlin, the truth is, everyone sees that, and they're willing to pay for it, right?
Yeah, billing insurance really isn't the barrier that a lot of pharmacists think it is. Patients are willing to pay for that convenience if you're willing to put a price on it. It's an access issue as well. So if it's convenient and it's access and it's available to them, even if that same service is covered at their provider's office, they might take that up at your service or your pharmacy.
Yeah, I love to hear that perspective, because you think that who's going to pay out of pocket? But the reality is, and in customer panels over the years, we see that they do, and they will. So let's talk about money, because Jessica, I love that you have a passion. You have a passion for sports. You're obviously, very into fitness and athletics as well. I'm sure that though all along you've been selling supplements and providing advice for free, and I think everyone here can identify with that, because you're all sort of giving away your service for free. How do you go from that to reimagining how you get paid and actually getting paid to advise people about misinformation on supplements, what supplements they should take given their health profiles, and what ones are safe, and what are the things to do to be safe when you're taking supplements? How do you make that transition?
Yeah, so the first thing was learning that can I just have a few minutes of your time is not like a business model. It doesn't really work very well to get paid. But I did find that being able to take that time when I had with those patients and learn that to listen better and to ask better questions. And what I really realized is these patients were wanting clarity and guidance. They wanted us to help cut through the misinformation and really help create a personalized plan for them. Whether it's a woman who's struggling, trying to figure out what's going on, and you could do a hormone consult and then test for their hormones and then make a compound for them. Or maybe it was my high school athlete who is trying to get to Division I, but he's not eating well because of an ADHD medicine and taking a pre-workout and then not sleeping well. Being able to say that we can have this consult with you and help you is what they were really looking for. They really weren't looking for another product.
Right, and what you described is a lot of service that you're giving, and in any other industry, you pay for product and you pay for service, and it's time for pharmacy to catch up. And in fact, Caitlin, in sort of redefining your role from dispenser to clinician as well, there have been a lot of additional revenue streams for you and Milo and Pharmacy, yes?
Yeah, so kind of like what they were talking about as far as mindset shift. For me, it was shifting from, doing over-the-counter consults to actually having a patient visit, doing those physical assessments to diagnose and treat patients. But yes, we created a service menu, and we're able to get paid by Medicaid in our state, but we also have a cash pay fee schedule as well. So we were able to serve a variety of patients.
That's wonderful, and I'm grateful for what your state is doing, and come back for the advocacy panel tomorrow on how we're trending that way. But Kathy, you have some firm opinions on what you get paid for and what you don't, right?
I do. Consumers cannot buy what you don't sell. And they are buying it from everybody but you. And so it is really important that we as a profession create products and place value on our services. We have to have an appointment, at least, for your consultation with a dollar sign attached. Because if we don't set that value, there is no value, and we see what that does in our industry. And we are working directly for the patient and for the consumer who doesn't want to become the patient.
I'd love to hear it, absolutely. Get paid for those services. All right, so let's get into more specifics on the challenges that you each faced, sort of making this transformation, how you overcame them, and maybe some of the best practices that came out of it. Caitlin, you're shaking your head, so you go first.
Okay, so a big thing for us was the space that we wanted to build this clinic. It took a lot of time and renovation, so that time alone did take 10 months. So that was some forward planning that we had to think about when thinking about getting this model started. Second, I would say staffing, so making sure that we were educating our staff. We were coming up with a plan so that they were ready to roll when the doors were ready to open. And then lastly, just educating the community. So, hey, this law changed, this is what we can do now as pharmacists, and really educating our patients so that they're aware of the services, and then the community as a whole, that we're ready to go. I would say don't wait for perfection, or you're gonna be waiting a long time. You're gonna see things that you probably haven't seen before, or helping patients you wouldn't really think you'd be in that situation. I had a patient walk in with full body hives, ended up doing some lab work, and ultimately ended up diagnosing them with a tick-borne illness that we had diagnosed previously in our clinic. So just be ready to help patients if you're able to, and don't wait for perfection.
That's absolutely right. Do not wait for perfection. Great advice. And that just furthers the trust relationship when you solve their problems. So that's wonderful. Jessica, how about you?
So it wasn't learning it was not what they were willing to pay for, but learning what they valued and how to convey in words that meant something to them. And one of the ways that I found really helpful was getting out in the community, and we as community pharmacists get offered a lot to donate or sponsor a team. And one of the easiest things was when they ask for that, to say yes, but let me come and talk. And it's not so much a marketing opportunity, but a way to connect with that community, to hear what questions they have and what values, and from that, you can build services, and you also kind of have the lingo you need for your marketing plan. And so that, and on top of having to get over the barrier of learning to charge for consults, like Kathy has talked about, if you don't put a value there, they don't know it, and if you don't have it out there, they don't know it. So, and I can't say what a patient is willing to pay for, so put it out there, someone is probably willing to pay for that. They're already paying, if you look at it, for like nutrition coaches, doctors, strength and conditioning coaches. Pharmacists is valued and should be paid for their services.
Well, I love that you went on a learning exposition of sorts, because if you ask the question, people are going to give you the answer. I'd love to tell you what's on their mind. Kathy, how about you?
Over 34 years, there's been a lot of challenges, but I've really noticed three big ones that have to be addressed to move forward. I know I had to address them. The first one is the inertia of our day, the inertia of what we've always done. You know, I know better than anybody. You open the door at the morning, the phone rings, everything goes, and by the end of the day, you collapse and go home to get ready to do it again. Inertia has to be disrupted. We have to do something different. The second one is identity. You know, shifting from a reactive profession where we do what the doctor tells us to do to a bold, proactive profession where we are actually intervening in the patient's progress. That was a big shift in my professional identity, to own that that was the relationship of helping people not get to the diagnosis. And the last one, and probably the hardest one, is isolation. I was not, for decades, I was not an independent pharmacist. I was an isolated pharmacist. It took me coming to places like this and meeting mentors and sponsors to actually support and create a way to learn a different way. So isolation has to be addressed. And I would encourage you all to join the network, join the Wellness Network, because that's really one of the reasons I created it and launched it, was for all of us to struggle together as we craft a new identity for the profession.
Well, and that's why everyone is here. We're so glad that you came out of your shell, Kathy. That's awesome. Because you are, and all of you are an important part of the healthcare ecosystem. You all have been practicing at the top of your license, giving it your all to your communities, and you are truly trusted healthcare providers. And I want to know from the three of you how you have further positioned yourself as such. Obviously, there's a trust relationship. Obviously, everyone knows you're there, but you're doing this in different ways, and I'd like to explore them. So first, Caitlin, you and Milo have established a pharmacist-led walk-in clinic within your pharmacy. And I know that your model relies on patient referrals from healthcare providers, from physicians. How do you establish and maintain those relationships without being seen as the competition?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say the most important part was being proactive. So really having those face-to-face conversations with your local providers to have that buy-in, and versus them just finding out about it. That probably wouldn't be the best thing. So we did meet with them, provided them more information about what's happening, why these changes, where can we fit in to help them. So we framed it in a way we can take those less complex patients so that you guys can spend more time with the more complex patients. If something's too emergent for me, I'll definitely refer out to them, and vice versa. If they don't have enough time to fit somebody in their schedule, they'll refer them to me. So it's definitely mutually beneficial.
You know, I love that you noted that it's reciprocal, because that's where true collaboration happens, where they need you as much as you need them. And truth be told, sometimes you're the best option, maybe the only option for patients.
Yeah, for us, the closest urgent care is 30 minutes one direction, so we are very rural. And some patients don't have primary care doctors. I'm sure all of you have run into that before. So this gives them another option for care that's not the emergency room.
I know you love direct patient care. Kathy, I know you do too. That is your preferred method, is communicating right with those customers, and it makes sense because that's where the trust relationship already has been established. So talk to us about what you're doing in this space.
Well, there's been a big shift over the last few decades in medicine in that as they became more corporate, they had less control over who they collaborated with. And so in my community, that's when I really decided to collaborate directly with the patient and go direct to consumer in my brand and in my offerings. And with wellness, that really works really well because it actually is before the diagnosis. But, you know, I'm not going to do brain surgery. I'm going to refer, just like all pharmacists do. We're excellent at triaging. We're going to guide patients to the appropriate care. So branding yourself as that collaborative partner in health with the patient has been my strategy.
It's very smart, it's working, I love it. So it's not just though the healthcare providers or the people who walk into your pharmacies. You can also there's so many points of entry in your community, like you had just talked about, Jessica, where you went out, you sponsored a team, but then you said, oh, but I want to go out in the community. Talk to us about some of these sort of out-of-the-box ways that you're connecting to bring in your potential patients.
Yeah, so it's not just you had to get past the barrier of thinking that you had to have that patient or client in the pharmacy. It was learning how to be a part of the community where those conversations were already happening. And we learned that it might be something totally different than primary cares that we refer back and forth to. It might be your local gym, an elite sports club in the area. It might be the high school. It might be a training facility or physical therapist or nutritionist. We were able to partner with those and refer back and forth. I also used those conversations as opportunities, and I took those questions and I started putting them on social media. And so those questions were things that people were already asking, but it brought consistency and it brought a recognition that the pharmacy was more than just a place to dispense a medication. It was a wellness place. It was a place where you could get answers and resources to the community.
And you're kind of a walking advertisement because you have this athletic background, right? You played sports in college.
Yes.
And so they can see the results. And so many people are invested in wellness these days. It's all over social media. So if you slide right in and say, I'm a professional, I'm a doctor, and I can help you with this, it just legitimizes you. I love to hear that. All right, so we have a few minutes left actually, so I would love to hear some great words of wisdom from you all, anything that you want to say to this crowd of your colleagues. I know you're going to continue the conversations after this conversation is over, so please approach them all when you see them on the show floor. But why don't we get a little bit of information from all of you? Caitlin, what are some words that you'd like to leave them with?
Well, I had a couple questions yesterday actually about do you feel confident in what you do? And I just want to reiterate, whether you're a student in school right now, if you're a new practitioner, or if you've been practicing for years, don't doubt your knowledge, because we are doctors, we went to school, we have that clinical training. So you know, maybe you might need a little extra refresher on some certain things, but you guys are very knowledgeable. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and if you see a need in your community, address it.
I love that. Speaking as the woman who just graduated a couple of years ago and is on the RBC stage. Bravo. I'm gonna clap for that. That's awesome. Jessica, how about you?
Similar to what Caitlin said, I would say always stay curious enough to listen and ask better questions to your customers. They can give you so much information about that. And then I think it's getting over the fact and stay confident enough that we have the ability to provide these services. We are uniquely skilled and able to do that, but also courageous enough to step outside of that box that many of us feel like we're confined to and create something new, create something different for a need in your community.
Love it, love it. Kathy, bring us home.
Well, before I share my words of wisdom, I want to acknowledge 3 generations of pharmacists here. And I've actually been practicing pharmacy longer than Caitlin's been alive. But what's common to these 3 generations is a unrelenting stand for patient care. What's different is 3 different business models. So I encourage you to really embrace the business model as we bring that standard of care forward into a proactive and a new way. The future of pharmacy, and really the future of the health of our grandchildren, are about our ability to help our patients not need medications. It's in the heart of every pharmacist here. We just have to brand this to the consumers and let them know that's who we are. You're going to have to take massive, bold, and often uncomfortable action, and you can't do it alone. Get some help. So that's what I would leave you with.
Beautiful. I see chills on Jessica's arms. Kathy, Jessica, Caitlin, you are not only hope for the future, you are representation of all these people in this room. Thank you for your words, thank you for your inspiration, and thank you for everything that you do for your communities. Let's give a big round of applause, everybody. All right, you can go that way. How about that? I'll go this way. Wow, amazing. There's also going to be plenty of opportunities to learn about wellness if that is something that you're considering going into. And actually, Dr. Kathy will be presenting at the Saturday session. So there is a QR code. That session you actually have to sign up for. So go ahead and scan that QR code or ask one of the RBC representatives. And please engage in all these sessions that you have time for. You know, seeing this, knowing about all of your stories,